Hello again today. Says we're live. Don't know how good this is going to work. This is on the old laptop, Wi-Fi connected. But we'll see. We'll see if it works. It'll probably die in about 15 minutes. So Amazon had a sale on this Adimlab. I guess it's an H7. They didn't really describe it in the $379. I did a few reviews before I ordered it. Looking at a few reviews. A couple things that I like about it versus what I found on the Zone Star. One, it's got 24 volt electrics, so heat bed and the hot ends 24 volts. Probably the stepper motors drive at 24 volts, which means it's a little more efficient. You get some more torque out of the motors with less current. It has a direct drive hot end, no Bowden tube, which quite frankly I love. And they didn't cheap out on the motherboard. The motherboard actually has decent memory. It runs probably an older version of Marlin. I don't know if the safety features are implemented or not. Well, we'll find out. But it does have a bootloader, so I can flash it with a newer version of Marlin. And it's getting stormy outside. You can hear the noise. Now, it says here, B07 CPQQ57D Adimlab 3D printers, Prusa something heat bed with glass PLA. Okay. Attention, please, before assembling and using. I see updates and things flashing on the laptop screen. I am not a super fan of attaching a glass bed with binder clips. Before assembling and using the 3D printer, please have a look at the YouTube instruction tutorials on the user manual. Please search Adimlab Gantry new version 3D printer videos to look. Notice it's new version 3D printer. If you find the bed is shift left and right, please use the 2 eccentric nuts to adjust the wheels to fasten them. So yeah, it's a little rocky. Before printing, or if you get into trouble with extruding, please have a look at the document how to use a filament and extruder in the SD card filament using an extrude problem solving. Every 3D printer will test print before sending out. If there's some damage during transportation, please contact us, and yada yada yada. They got an email, a Skype, and a Facebook group, so we have that. I have to check that out in a little bit. I think, well, that nice job on the glass on the print bed. It's not sharp. That's fantastic. I've got a couple of loose little thumb screws and some extra fibrous material there. We got little leveling feet. Probably a little noisy because they're not cushioned at all, but not bad. Component-wise, it looks very nice. Very, very nice. Nicely assembled. Don't like that they use Phillips head screws instead of socket heads on pretty much every single nut. They did use socket heads on the corner braces, and they are metal corner braces. That's nice. 3D printed part for the bed connector, for the belt connector. Belt's a little bit loose, but that's okay. can tighten that, I think. PC board end stops, metal bracket for the easy belt tensioner, although this is simply acrylic, single layer of acrylic with a double stack. Doesn't make it any stronger, but and a metal piece for holding the idler. That's pretty good. Okay. Huh, decent. I'll set this over here. And a couple little thumb knobs. Extra foam. More big hunks of foam. And it's not styrofoam, it's soft plastic foam. I don't know if that's recyclable like styrofoam is. A bag of scraper, screwdriver, USB card reader, a USB memory card, probably with some stuff on there. Allen head screws, long pokey thing, zip ties, and some cable wrap. Acrylic side braces for assembling the gantry onto the frame. A 3D printed brace piece. USB cord. A little tiny coil of filament. 3D printed spool holder. Power cord. Acrylic control box with connectors. Not a touch panel, rotary knob. On off, it's already set to 110. SD, full size SD card slot. That's pretty good. And the gantry. The other thing I noticed about this thing was cable management seems to be well thought out. Cable chain on the extruder head. Shrink. That's some tough shrink wrap. Nice job packing, guys. So yeah, direct drive extruders right here. It feels plastic, but could be wrong. That's kind of nice. Let's have a part cooling fan ducted down to that, and it has LED lighting on the bottom of the print head, which is pretty cool. But yeah, not bad. Lead screw. One lead screw protected. Dual lead screws. Solid couplers. No spring thing couplers. Pre-lubricated. That's good. Probably needs tightening. We'll wait till we get it all assembled to do that. Don't know how you could tighten that, because there does not seem to be any tensioning device for the x-axis, because it is just right here into these little metal side plates. That's a bummer. Guys, how hard would it be to put a tension? Okay, well, but nice cables, everything well wrapped. labeled. Interesting that they use this 12-pin connector for the hot end. So it does the lighting, fan control. Don't know if it's a separate fan. Doesn't look like it. Looks like it's one fan for hot end cooling and part cooling, which not the worst thing in the world. That'd be interesting. We have to zip tie that to the motor. We'll see. We'll follow their instructions. Okay, so let's set that. It's sturdy. I mean, robust. All right, last little bits of foam. Oh, who we got in the chat? 3D Medic Vince and Michael Castle. Hey, got one of these open box from an auction. Still need to set it up in initial testing. And Minnesota Maker, welcome. So I don't know how much time I will have here to put this thing together, but we'll try. Let me break down this cardboard and get this out of here. So it's out of my way. Because the garage is really full. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people have heard of this printer even, I don't think. But it looks halfway decent. It even looks like they're using an E3D style nozzle, and I don't know if the heater block is. Heater block seems pretty small, but it's got this short nozzle profile typical of the E3Ds. I'll go grab my E3D nozzles and check that out. If it is, that is really cool, because that means you can interchange, and I have an E3D fun nozzle fun pack with like the big, I think it goes up to a 0.8. And for a printer that prints this big, this is a 310 by 310 by 410 high, I think. Yeah, you probably are going to want to lay down some filament. Tall layers, fat layers. So let me ditch this into the recycle bin, and I'll be right back. So here. Don't break anything. One piece. Okay. Wow, it's blowing like crazy out there. Yeah, LED lights under the extruder. Cable chain's very nice as well. Yeah, and unlike the Zone Star, the heater block has actually been at least sandblasted. I mean, it doesn't look like they just took a saw and cut a chunk of aluminum, drilled some holes, and said, "Oh, there you go." So I mean, yeah, it's rigid, like I said. Oh, I see. Okay. So looking under here, this I don't really care for. Let's see if I can see that. Move the extruder head. So they just poked holes in the belt and screwed a couple screws through it to attach the belt of the carriage. Really, guys. Okay, so that's going to need some 3D printer parts and a new piece of belt. I don't know that this is the highest quality belt, but yeah. And when we print these parts, we can make one slotted or something to. that's just crazy. Okay, that's yeah. Guys did a nice job up until then. Okay. Let me get the glass off the bed here, because otherwise, you know what'll happen. I'll get this. We're going to try and adjust the wheels first. Whoa, come here. Sorry. As soon as I get the bed in a spot where, okay. There's our clips. Take the glass off and then put this in here where it will be safer. Not safe. At least safer for the moment. All right. Bring the carriage back over here. So, well, there's where the thumb wheel came off of, obviously. And this is one of my major pet peeves. If you're going to attach a heater bed with screws, at least put some nuts on the back end of them for the screws not to fall out. One, it'll make your spring tension tighter. But two, when you're fiddling with it, all you're relying on for this thumb screw to pull on those screws, keep the screw from rotating in the bed, is the friction from this countersunk hole in the aluminum. I know, I'm a bitcher. Who else we got here? Pal Pause Projects, howdy. So I know, I mean, it's not like I engineer stuff perfectly either. My stuff takes several iterations to get it to work right, but I mean, really, you hook the bed belt up with a 3D printed part that gives you some adjustment on it. All right. Enough crying and whining. Let me go get some nuts. Find some nuts that'll fit this. We have some extras in my Prusa box. Maybe. Not that Prusa box though. Okay. Oh, you know what? I got my coffee. Well, I think I have some extras in here. They may not be the right ones. You have to use square ones as well. Yeah, let's see if that square nut fits that. Probably. Ooh, that does not look like that. Looks like a. Oh, sure. All right. No, this looks like a 4mm. All right. Let me get the tweezers. I can't get that. Yeah, pick that up. Thinners. All right. So view-wise, I know you're not getting extreme close-up. You're getting back of my head most of the time. Yeah, I think that's a 4mm. All right. Let me run inside. I think I've got another multi-pack of screws and nuts in there that has the right nuts for this. All right. Now we're settled. I think. We hope. Let's see if they are M4. They look like M4. That's a pretty nice aluminum heat bed. Thick, rigid seams, very flat, at least sitting here on the table. So yes, M4 nuts. So let's get 4 of these guys out. 2, 3, 4. Snap that back together so that when I knock it on the floor that it blows apart. Because you don't want them just dribbling off. What modding the printer before I put it together and just test it normal? Yeah, that's the way we do things here. Because I hate taking it back apart to fix it after I've already got it all put together. As proven by the Zone Star laying down here on the floor. That thing needs a whole new, replace that plexiglass frame. with an acrylic frame, with a plywood frame, and it'll be fine. Oh, what do I need? I need a little metric wrench. Be right back. Okay. So how many of you guys mod your printer as you're putting it together? Before you've even tested it? What time is it? So the reason I'm watching the clock is my wife will get home from work and I'm going to go make dinner. We'll have dinner. There we go. Perfect. And I can see, you guys can't see it, but traces are isolated from where the screws go. Yay. So they're not going to short out when you're adjusting things. If they spin around and it makes contact with the PCB surface, it shouldn't. Better not. There should not be any circuitry there. Okay. Thermistor is all the way over here in the corner, held on with a piece of Kapton tape. I don't know that that's the best idea. I don't have a FLIR camera to put on it to see how evenly it heats up. It should be pretty even, but why would you mount the, I know keeping the lead short, it costs 10 cents extra. Well, I'll pay 10 cents extra. Now, the interesting thing is the way this board is laid out. Yeah. No. I was going to say, looks like a dual zone board, but it's not quite. Not quite. So there's a trace that runs down the middle here, right here, feeds this side, and that's from this negative side, and then this one's goes all the way up here, comes back, and this is tied to the positive. You could, if you wanted to, cut the trace and run a wire around, well, actually cut the trace right here and run the wire around and power this heater separate. You'd have to do some stuff with the bed connector, but you could do it. It would be a happening thing. Now, the other thing is with the screws locked in like that, I could also put a piece of build tack or something else on here. Whatever your favorite bed surface is. Let's see how this looks for rigidity here. A bit of wobble. Pretty good side to side that way. So the eccentric nuts that they're talking about have to be these two in the center. It's too big. That one's right. Okay. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey on eccentrics? Nope. So all I'm doing is tightening this and turning the wheel by hand till I can feel it getting tight. Yeah, and this one's the opposite way. Oh, maybe not. It's that way. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Much better. Much better. That'll probably break in as you use the machine, but that's good so far. All right. Yeah, see cutouts here for motors. I'm going to leave the bed off for right now because we can always put it on. It's easy enough with the 4 screws on there. They're not going to fall out. Put our nuts and screws right there. Let's set this up out of the way. That just makes this whole assembly lighter. And are we reading the manual? I don't know. Somebody wants to pull up the manual, look at it. I'm not going to disrupt the stream with that because it'll go ape. It'll go ape on me if I pull up the stream. So there is, oh, filament runout detector. Little bracket and thing there. Don't know where that goes. Well, we may be reading the manual. There's a screw and a T-nut. It's kind of loose in here. Probably fell off one of these guys. Yep, that's good. This guy's missing. Okay, right now, that's good. Now this must be the other one. This is the Z stop in stop. Okay. There we go. So then these 2 bolts. I think I could do this without a manual. What do you think? Your bed was real wobbly. Did yours, Vince, did yours have the eccentric adjustment on the bottom? If it didn't, that kind of sucks. I mean, that's... But supposedly they made that change. Something about the new printer. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't know about this. I think I want to replace these with some 5mm socket head cap screws, but will they fit in the holes that they've drilled here? Well, that's not good. Seriously? Seriously. So you put that in there and it wedges against, no, just lost chat. Okay. Yeah, put that in there and it wedges against the V slot is the way that it tightens up. That is bogus in the extreme because you're dealing with the corner of the head on the corner of a really small V slot. V slot. Make adjustments. Seems you need to recheck all the wheels were aligned in the grooves. Okay, well, mine look aligned. They're tight. Tighten the belt. That's good. Thought they needed to be smaller head or at least lock washers. Yeah, so what they should have done was counterboard this so that the head would go down and lock on to the bottom of the extrusion We are probably going to do that, and doing that by hand is going to be awesome and fun. So yes, again, modding things before we've even put it together. Let's set the gantry over here. So we just got a bed to worry about destroying. That's sorry for all you metric fans. We're going to caliper this 375. So a 3/8 drill will do the trick. Okay. Here we go. I want to go grab the box and set it up again, but you need to make a table. Well, you need to place it on the table, then you're out of room. Yeah, well, I just spent an hour cleaning up out here. So that I would have room to do this. All right, let's try and not destroy things. Let me get rid of this Avira notification. Get off of there. Okay. All right. Let's see. How do we want to do that? Can't really. Oh, I can move that down there. So this is just going to be by eye, and we'll go slow. Maybe yep, maybe a job for the drill press or a Dremel, possibly the Dremel. Let's do something with that. That sounds a little less dangerous. Sorry, I'm trying to be good and put everything away as I go, so I'm not making more of a mess. All right, Dremel. It's right here. But I gotta find my Dremel grinder. No, not in there. I don't know where they're at. They're over with my mostly printed CNC. Okay. Oh, you know I'm serious now. I've got the stool. All right, get that bit in there. Need a shaft to block this guy, so I can tighten him down. Wrench. Okay, now we're just gonna auger this thing out so that we can get the head of that screw in there. Sorry, you're not gonna be able to see. Let's see if that fits. Does that way. Huh. Okay. Oh, shit. Well, that one goes through. What's wrong with that one? Did I squanch it while I was drilling? Maybe. Maybe I screwed that one up a little bit. There. Okay. Now it's going down and resting on the base, the flat part of the extrusion. So we got to do this. No, I got to make dentist noises on this side. Open wide. Okay. Yeah, let's blow that stuff right into the laptop. That's okay. Sorry. Hey, it's not as loud as my MPCNC when it's routing, and that goes on for 6 hours. Okay, we got 2 screws that fit all the way in there. Let's see if they fit in the ends of the extrusion for the gantry. How deep are those things tapped? So we may have to go with shorter screws since they're now setting further in. Oh no, they're tapped plenty fine. I'm going to check both of them just to make sure. And then we'll stick this gantry together. Now, hopefully there's not one of these weird things. Insert part B into slot A before assembling tab C into the notch D. But I will disassemble things one time. This is probably my own fault. Okay. That's going to go in. Yeah, plenty fine. Okay. Now this is going to be interesting. Get this. This is where you need a buddy, I think. Somebody to hold it. Well, you do something. Let's get the other screw. Now I probably will come back later and replace these with 5mm socket head cap screws, because in my experience, you just can't get Phillips quite tight enough. And there are a few threads. Another angle in the dangle here. There we go. Okay. Now that's just loosely tight right now. I can still wiggle, but it looks, those are pretty pretty tight holes. There's not really any slop pushing on the frame pieces. So these motor mounts down here on the Z are 3D printed, which I'm cool with that. I like 3D printed parts on my printer. I would prefer 3D printed parts over acrylic parts. I think they're stronger. But, all right, let's cinch this guy down. Since it looks good, this would be a spot to add some lock nut washers if you were so inclined. Okay. That was pretty good. Let's turn this, and this little bracket I mean, that's not horrible. We'll see how far down this gantry can actually come. If there's room, what I would do is put some more of these angle brackets, and I do have some, in right here in this corner, rather than this acrylic piece. I mean, the acrylic piece is going to stiffen it up somewhat, but I would think a metal piece would be much better. So let's see if I can get that to turn and grip. Maybe. Seems like it did. Yeah. And that's the other thing, is you tighten too tight. You know, this is supposed to be a brace, but if you tighten the screws too tight, you'll crack the acrylic. So what the heck, guys? Obviously you got sheet metal parts that you can bend and break and have align with each other 90 degrees and whatnot. How much more would it cost to give me a stamped steel part with 4 holes punched in it versus a stupid acrylic part? I don't get some of the decisions made in the name of economy. All right, so we're going to put the Z in stop on here. I notice it's all crooked. We'll straighten it up a little bit. Seems to work. We'll see. Let's see, that one, back it out. That way, move that way. Okay. Oh yeah, wobbly. ABE. Well, I am a machinist. I can make one, but the whole point is, why do I have to make it? This motor bracket's metal. Why couldn't this tensioner bracket be metal? And the Z end stop could be metal. And the, you know, this is metal. Everything else is metal. You know, I would go for 3D printed parts over acrylic parts. Okay. Well, that does stiffen it up somewhat. All right. Not exactly what I would call super rigid. It's got a bit of twist there, but probably will work just dandy fine. I see there's a zip tie hole right here. And maybe, you know, this is, I don't know. We'll see. You may have to go watch a video. What time is it? It's 5:08. So, hey, Rover. That part's together. Let me put the bed back on. We'll see if that still works like they intended. Well, it's not like they intended because I've modified it, but let's see if it still goes together with the parts that they supplied, or if I have to do something completely different. Okay. Springs. Oh, those springs are going to be tight. These are beefy little springs. Now, what I've done by adding the nuts to this may make those springs too tall. I don't know. We'll put one. Yeah, they do need I don't know what they need for the twist part of it. I know what would help the twist part of it is if you use 2040 extrusions for your uprights instead of 2020s. And that would not be that hard of a mod to do. Just replacing these two pieces with some 2040 and maybe another piece of 2040 across the top. Shouldn't. Other than where the motors mount in relation to the carriage bracket, shouldn't matter. Should be doable. But yeah, would be a lot of modding, I suppose. Okay, so get our heat bed put back on here. Yeah, let's see if we can crank this all the way down. Let's see how far down I can crank it. And quite a bit of adjustment still. So I'm going to crank it all the way as low as it can get. Oh boy. Okay. And there we go. So I'm going to call that good for right now. Mechanical assembly is done. I'm going to go watch a couple videos, make sure I did this all right, and see where the wire, how the wiring is supposed to go, and anything else that I might have missed. And it probably will be a couple days before I have a chance to come out here and fire it up and play with it and get it going. And it's cold out here in the garage, so I don't know that it will print, although I do have a paper fiber painter's cloth right there that I've used to drape over, and that might capture enough warmth to make it possible to print out here in the garage with this thing, because until I do a major cleanup in the printer room, I don't have room for this. So appreciate you guys joining. Sorry it was such a short thing, but you know, I got complaints before of who's going to watch a 3-hour stream or 3-hour video. They didn't know it was a stream. Anyway, I'll let you know how it goes. You guys will see a video next time. All right. Talk to you later.